Something that my wife has pointed out to me loads and loads of times is that there is a big difference between hearing and listening. Yeah, Rob, you heard me there, but were you actually listening? Hearing is being aware of the sound, but it's passive. It's there, it's in the background, it's going on, but you're not completely tuned into it. Listening, however, is a different story. To listen is to actively engage. It's giving it your full attention and your full thought. And at the end of Psalm 19, David says this to God: "May these words of my mouth and this meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight." I think that word meditation is a bit of a scary one, but part of it is taking these qualities of listening, actively engaging, giving your full attention and thought, and putting it onto something. And you have to ask, what is it that's David doing in this psalm? What has he been meditating or giving his full attention and thought over to? And it looks like he's been doing that in regards to God speaking. And in Psalm 19, that's what we see. God speaks. And David seems to be spending some time reflecting on two of the ways that God communicates with us. And that's what we're going to look at over the next couple of weeks. And the first way we see that God speaks is through his world. And what David reflects on about this in verses 1 to 6 is interesting. And as we look at it, we'll see that God, as he speaks through the world, it's about him, it's against the culture, and it's available to all. Firstly then, it's about God, and often people can become obsessed about what the world has to give us or to say about us. You know, what is it that my star sign might reveal about me and my future? Or what kind of hand is the universe going to deal me? But in these verses we see that the heavens are declaring and the skies are proclaiming God. It's about him, his honour, splendour and his glory. And our world speaks of him. It speaks of his beauty in what we see and experience. And it speaks of his awesomeness in the magnitude of what has been created by him. And it speaks of his love and care and protection in the laws, designs and intricacies of our world and how it exists and continues to do so. It's all to him. It's all about him. It's his glory, and it's not for a time or for a moment. It always has been, and it always will be. So firstly, it's about him. And then secondly, it's against the culture. And so David here seems to use the sun to unpack this idea a little bit. You know, at the time, as other nations observed the world, the sun, the stars, the planets, they were viewed as gods, part of the big story of life, but they had power over their realms and people. But here we see David stands against that, very clearly saying that the God of the Bible is not one of many. He is the ultimate, the one. And as Christians, we believe that he is the creator of all and he's in control over all. Finally, then, we see that it's available to all. And in the psalm, David uses the sun again, talking about its warmth and that everybody can feel this. You know, it's this idea of general revelation, the idea that through the world, God generally to all people is revealing things about himself, his power, creativity, control, and his constant sustaining of the world. These qualities of God can be seen and known through the world around us. And in Romans 1, Paul talks about this, about how through the world we can all know about God. It's not just for a specific bunch, but all can feel its warmth. It's available to all. So God speaks through the world, and as he does that, we see that it's about him, it's against the culture, and it's available to all. It's also interesting to note that in these verses that we've looked at, God's communication through the world and to the world is without speech. There's no words, no sounds. It almost speaks of an intuition that God is not speaking to our ears, but through the world to our inner being, to the core of who we are, speaking into meaning and purpose. And the question we're left with then is this: as he does that, are we really listening?